Coin Bullz back at it again. You know what it is, plan B with this crypto. Today we're gonna discuss stablecoins, which I discussed in a previous video. I felt as though I left out some key information, so I'm gonna tackle that today. So in my previous video, I talked about stablecoins, and mainly I focus on it being a hedge against the volatility that the crypto market can experience. But stablecoins also has a use case for other things, and it's not only backed by USD or United States dollar. Stablecoins can be backed or pegged, as they call it, to the Japanese yen or the Korean won, for instance. So, and even Canada came up with their own stable coin today. So that was news in the crypto space. So other countries are getting on board when it comes to stable coin because, you know, it's pegged to a specific currency and it keeps the value stable. So another good thing with stable coins, it's a more practical use when it comes to buying goods and services. So for instance, if you wanted to go into Starbucks to purchase a cup of coffee, if you use a stable coin, you know, that cup of coffee, if they say they want $2.50 for it, you have a stable coin, you make the purchase, it's gonna stay there. It's not gonna bounce up and down. Like for instance, if you try to use Bitcoin to make such a purpose, Bitcoin wouldn't be a good coin to make such a purpose because the volatility goes up and down. Stablecoin eliminates that. Also, one of the key factors in stablecoins is the remittances market. So remittances is mainly making cross-border payment. So, which is a big market, sending money, you know, across borders. And so Facebook, of course, was in the news because they are trying to create their own stable coin called Libra. Now, there's been a big pushback against the Libra stable coin because, of course, you know, Facebook was on Capitol Hill. You had Mark Zuckerberg. You had his one of his key players in the Libra Association on Capitol Hill, and they were getting a lot of pushback from the regulators because regulators were like, number one, you couldn't even protect users' data. You had an issue with the 2016 election, and then you had the Cambridge Analytica fiasco. So, you know, let's face it, Facebook, you know, they're so big, they have some things to work out, but as far as data privacy, they haven't been a good steward of that. And so the regulators were like, no. And one of the big blows to Facebook stablecoin, initially they had Visa on board, they had MasterCard, and they had PayPal on board, were trying to help them on board this stablecoin. But last month, those players dropped out the game, which is a big blow to Facebook. I still think they're going to try to launch the stablecoin. You know, I'll keep you updated on that, and we'll see what happens. But one of the main factors that, you know, Facebook stated that one of the reasons for the stablecoin was going to be able to assist with cross-border payments. They were really, you know, banking on that. And of course, Facebook, you know, they own Instagram and they own WhatsApp. So they were going to try to leverage those two platforms that they already own in order to get people on board and get this stable coin off the ground. So, you know, I just wanted to touch on that. Stable coins are a growing factor. You know, one thing, when Facebook was on Capitol Hill, you had one of the regulators talking about they wanted to try to consider some stablecoin securities, which really wouldn't be a good thing, but you know, I'll try to touch on that in future videos. But until then, I wanted you to understand that stablecoins have other use cases besides limiting your volatility in the market. So once again, if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, tell a friend, and in the meantime, do you really want to run with the bulls? Peace.